We are the restaurant brokers, and we sell restaurants.
We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm over a decade ago.
Atlanta, Georgia was our starting point, but our brand is spreading nationwide. We define restaurant brokerage and help buyers just like these.
Our dream, our goal, open up a restaurant, loving life, serving people breakfast and lunch, and then enjoying the rest of the day with them and ourselves.
Buying an existing restaurant, leasing a closed restaurant space, or purchasing a restaurant franchise. We help buyers satisfy their appetite for acquisition.
I'm part of a husband and wife team with this fella.
Working with my wife has been a lot of fun. The ultimate goal for everybody here is to make this work. And because we have different strengths, we bring different angles to the deal.
The process begins with our powerhouse website, WeSellRestaurants.com, where buyers sign online confidentiality agreements and browse restaurants for sale.
Then we send buyers undercover to check out a restaurant and decide if it's the right one for them.
Buyers get our proprietary business analysis tool with all the financial details on the business for sale.
After studying the restaurant inside and out, it's back to our office.
We are deal makers. We write contracts and negotiate terms for buyers and sellers. That's why we sell more restaurants than any other firm in the nation. We are the restaurant brokers. Our name says it all. That sound means you're back on the air with the restaurant brokers, Eric and Robin Gagnon. And today we are talking to Chef Antonia Lofaso, whose claim to fame is both Restaurant Startup, her current show on CNBC, and also Top Chef. I believe it was season 4. So, Eric, you know what I love about her newest show, Restaurant Startup? It is right in the alley of our segment right here, Restaurant Reality. She tells it like it is, and so do the investors on that show, right?
It is real as it could be. I mean, America always loved restaurants. People used to go to restaurants, but then you remember in the 70s and the 80s, people would come in and the waiter server will take your order and they go behind a door and nobody knew what happened behind the magic door. Then you have this beautiful plate of food coming back to you. And then, suddenly, a little later in the 90s, we started seeing open kitchens. And people say, hey, look what we're doing while we're cooking your food. This is great. And now we're all the way to the next level where we see it on television. We see the back, not only the business aspect, the marketing aspects, the failure. We see the whole thing. America is just so hungry for seeing everything that's happening in the restaurant 24/7. And this shows really the next level of that. Now we're looking at the business aspect of it, which is, for restaurant brokers, a very, very good show. I mean, I'm sad when the show is over. I wanted another one right here, right now.
I know, and the principals on this show, Joe Bastianache and also Tim Love, they are renowned restaurateurs. So Joe has Italy, which is just known all over the country, and Tim has lots of different restaurants. He's got these sauces and herbs and spices. So both are chefs by trade, but primarily also businessmen. So when they get on there, some people's eyes may glaze over, but for us, when they start talking food costs and occupancy costs and understanding what it takes to raise a restaurant from the ground, we're looking at that every day as restaurant brokers, and I find it refreshing to see on TV.
Well, what's the most exciting for me is restaurant valuation. If you watch that show, one episode, everybody thinks their restaurant's worth $1 million without the doors open. Then fast forward to the end of the show, and these guys are investing, $100,000 for 90% of the restaurant. So their restaurant is worth $150,000, and they have an opportunity to, a lot of time, to get the upside of it. And that's what this is about. Your restaurant's not worth a whole lot until you actually prove that you're making money. Chef Antonia said that today. I mean, I know what's going on in my restaurant because I know the numbers. And that's a very, very powerful phrase that everyone out there thinking about getting into business or in business should know your costs. I mean, another thing, Robin, is about plate costs. I mean, how many restaurateurs out there right now knows what's your most profitable and your least profitable item on your menu? What is the cost of that plate?
Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people have described this restaurant startup as kind of Shark Tanks for restaurants. And if you think about people that go on Shark Tank, and we've had some restaurateurs on our show that have been on Shark Tank, we only see a little bitty bit. So we're seeing an hour show that's been compacted, but that they've been grilled for hours and hours on end about what's really going into their food. And to your point, knowing those numbers, even when we meet with sellers or we meet with potential buyers, if you're a buyer, to understand what occupancy costs should look like in the industry, that you should be at 8 to 10% occupancy all in. So somebody comes to see us and they want to buy a restaurant and they say, it's a great restaurant, I'm only going to pay this much for it. What are the gross sales? Well, 300,000. How much is the rent? 5,000 a month. Okay, that's 60,000 a year. You're already upside down. You're going to have to dig out of a hole to make your money. So the reality of that, I find it so refreshing to see it and to have real businessmen in place who are saying, yeah, this is what it's really worth. This is what we're willing to invest and take a chance on somebody starting in the business.
Yeah, this is the business aspect. And one big thing is you have to be, whether you're in the business or thinking about going in, you have to be pliable. You have to be able to listen to others. Find the right mentors. Don't listen to everybody, because that's also going to be a problem. But guys like Joe and Tim, I mean, they have done it. If these guys speak, I mean, even Rob and I know a lot about the industry. I listen. I would stop talking and listen to these guys. You know, you got to find the right people that you want to be model after, you know, and you got to learn from your failures. I mentioned earlier, I mean, you know, people have failed many times sometimes before they have their first successful restaurant. So you have to look at this very harsh, and you have to spend as much time focusing on your business aspect of your restaurant than you do on the food and the entertainment piece and the decor piece of it.
Well, but I have to tell you, Eric, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because when people are cooking, you know, when you really get that soulful, fabulous, wonderful plate of food in front of you, that chef's put their heart and soul into it. So on the one hand, we're trying to say to them, give us that food that really, you know, you're cooking from the heart, and then on the other side, strip the heart away, you know, get that out of the picture, because it's all black and white. So I can see where, you know, I really think the best team is like, we've seen a husband and wife team on Restaurant Startup, and maybe the wife is the numbers person, the black and white and the literal person, and the chef is the more emotional person, more engaged with the food, but together they kind of balance each other out. I think it's, you either have to have that right brain, left brain, that heart and soul for the cook, and also the emotional side of it, and then be able to lay that to the side and also have the business piece. It's tough. The reality is it's tough.
Yeah, but what you talk about is also what we talk about in our book, Appetite for Acquisition, is how to build your team around you. If I am the aggressive, you know, no nonsense, you know, I'm not the touchy-feely kind of guy, then I need to find that emotional connection that we need for the customer. If I'm not good keeping up books, then I need to have an accountant that will know about the restaurant industry, you know. Then my food costs, we heard some funny stories today on the show, you know, about food costs, and, you know, I mean, you don't want to be that person. You need to know what's happening. So you have to know when to be aggressive, and also, you know, don't take it personal. It is a business. It's a loving business. You have to have the passion, the love, but it's also a business. So don't let it, you know, grow on you and you know, let it ruin your entire life. I mean, this is your business. Make decisions based on your business, not 100% based on just your emotions.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's what it comes down to. But it's a great business, because look how many people are flocking. You know, there's 990,000 restaurants nationwide, and that's up from the year before. You know, very, very recently, a new survey information came out, said 2015, we are looking at the highest rate of increase in restaurant sales ever. So people love this industry, and they continue to invest. And speaking of that, we have some listings they can invest in. We've got a great listing right in Atlanta that really needs somebody to come in, be hands-on, do those things. Maybe you find an investor, somebody who can keep your book straight for you and keep you on the right path, and at the same time, you know, gives you the $79,000. You put in the sweat equity and the learning that it would take to get this business off the ground, because it's a great opportunity.
And who knows, maybe you're ready for that next step. You go see Joe and Tim, you make it on the show, and we have the space for you, because these guys usually have a space picked up in their town. So if you're in towns that we're in, anywhere from Colorado to South Florida, come to us. We will help you find the right space that you can bring to Joe and Tim, and maybe make it on the show and have them as your partner. I think that will be a wonderful opportunity for you to have these guys as mentors in your journey to become a successful operator.
And I think some of the lessons shared from Antonia today, and also from the Restaurant Startup show, whether it's a tavern, a bar, whether you are fine dining, whether you're fast casual, those lessons transcend every type. So if you're looking at a restaurant and bar for sale we might have in Colorado Springs that's earning six figures now, it's $695,000 for an asking price, it still has the opportunity to improve those fundamentals, improve the food costs, come in, take a leadership, be that rubber band, that pliable person that says, I want to learn from this person, I want to learn from that person, and figure out how to improve upon that business model and make it even better, improve your quality of life for yourself and for your family.
Well, give us a call. Send us an email. We'll be glad to help you and connect you with the right people to put you on the right track.
All of our listings are online. They're at WeSellRestaurants.com. That's WESELL Restaurants with an S.com. We are the industry leader in restaurants for sale, franchise restaurant resale, and site location for the food service industry. This is Eric and Robin Gagnon. We are the restaurant brokers, and join us next week and every week for more about the restaurant industry.